This woman is hiding, and when she notices a car leaving the motel, she runs to the vehicle and yells for the driver to stop, and then walks to the car door and tells her husband to get out, asking if he is going crazy. The husband, confused, asks what she is doing there, and the woman accuses him of being cheating on her and who is the woman in the car. How it all started. The husband always went out with his friends and never took his wife. He was getting ready in his room and the wife asks if he's going out again. The husband asks what's wrong with him going out. He says he's going to have a beer with his friends, and the wife asks that he goes out every day, that he never takes her or at least calls her. The husband replies that she is full of things to do, that he has clothes for her to fold. The wife says that she also likes to go out to have fun, that he always goes out with his friends, every day he has a schedule, that he never calls and takes her, and that she is watching him get dressed, putting on perfume and doesn't say anything to her. The husband then tells her to give him some time, that he is going to have fun with his friends and asks what is the problem with that. Then he says he goes wherever he wants, leaving his wife upset in the room, once again alone and without understanding what is happening. A week later, the wife was sweeping the house when her husband passes by her and she asks if he is going out again. The husband asks what the problem is, and the wife is surprised at his lack of commitment to the relationship and says that he goes in and out as if she were nothing in the house. Her husband replies that there's going to be a barbecue party, and he didn't call her because she's just messed up, so it's not worth it for him to go with her. She tries to argue that she wants to go and that she's going to get ready very quickly, but her husband interrupts her saying no, because he's ashamed, that you shouldn't keep taking your wife to these things, that even commented to the staff that it is not possible to take the wife. And she asks if the wives of others are going, and the husband answers yes, and she asks why she cannot go. The husband complains that just look at her and she has the answer, and tells her to sweep the house properly, and complains that she's getting boring. The wife asks why he's treating her like that, and the husband talks back saying he is going to a barbecue and doesn't want her to get in the way, and asks if she can understand that, if it's hard to understand, and she, upset, says no. He turns to leave, but first tells her to fix her face, because she is all messed up, and leaves. With his wife alone at home once more, she then talks to herself, saying that she doesn't know why her husband is treating her like that he only knows how to respond in a rude way and that he's been treating her that way for a long time. So she goes back to sweeping the house. The next day, most of the time it felt like the wife didn't even exist inside the house. She greets her husband as he has breakfast, walks up to him and leaves a kiss on his cheek. Then she asks if he didn't put a towel on the table for her, and the husband says he's in a hurry and that's why he didn't think about it, that he's having his coffee. The wife comes back with a towel and starts talking to her husband, saying that he said some things that made her think that she really needs to take care of herself more, have a little more vanity, that she will try to book a salon to look more pretty. That what her husband said is true, that she is being a little negligent with him. But he, always cold to his wife, didn't even look at her while she spoke. And he says that she finally understands. The wife asks him how things are at work, that they live together and are married, but he doesn't say anything. The husband asks if she can't see that he's busy and eating, and asks if she doesn't think it's too late to get ready, that now he's seen her all messed up, and his wife says she doesn't know what's going on with him, that she's telling him that it's going to get better for him to feel more proud of her, that she will try to improve, and her husband says that it's okay, that he really wants to see her tidy. His cell phone rings, and she asks who is calling, but the husband says that no one is calling. It must be his friends at work, and the wife tells him to answer it, which may be important. The husband complains that she is insisting, but the wife says that if it's work he should answer it, and the husband takes his cell phone to answer the call. The lover greets him and asks if he is close to his wife. The husband says yes, and the lover says he misses him and asks if they can meet, and the husband asks, so the wife does not suspect if later he has meeting, and the lover says yes, that's the meeting they like, and the husband asks where it's going to be, and she says it's a silly question, it's going to be at the motel they always go to, and he agrees. So the lover tells him to take a present and he says he will, so the two say goodbye. The wife asks what it was and who it was, and the husband says it was nobody and it's no big deal, and the wife asks who called him and why, and the husband, already a little nervous, complains that she is asking too much, that he's already losing his hunger. He throws the bread on the table angrily and says he's going out, and that he's going to eat on the street or wherever he wants, and leaves the wife alone at home, who wonders what's going on, that her husband asked a question and she said she was going to change, because she wants to rescue the marriage, and her husband still reacted that way. So she says there's something going on, that her husband is very strange and sighs upset. Later, while the wife is doing laundry, she says that if the problem is her getting ready, today she's going to get all dressed up for her husband, and she wants to see what he's going to say, that she can't lose his marriage like that. So she sighs, and sees that someone is calling her. She rinses and dries her hand so she can answer the call, and realizes it's an unknown number, but answers it anyway. A man says she doesn't know him, but he has something to say, and she asks who's calling. The man says that he saw her husband's car drive into a motel, and the wife asks what the story is, and the man replies that he even took pictures and that he will send them to her. The wife doesn't believe it and says she is tired of being pranked, and she tells him to send her what to see, ending the call right away. The wife doesn't believe what the man said and goes back to washing clothes, but soon her cell phone rings and she takes it to look at it. Then she can't believe it when she sees that it's really true, that her husband's car was actually entering the motel. She goes through all the pictures, not believing what she is seeing, saying that this is too cruel and that she doesn't deserve to go through this, wondering why her husband is doing this to her. Then angrily she says she will fix it now, and her husband will pay. The husband and the lover are in the car, and she is saying that she loved the motel, not to mention the luxury hydromassage. The husband remembers the bubble bath, and the lover says he is amazing, and the man says it's hard to find excuses to go out. And the lover asks what day he's going to leave his wife, and the husband tells her to stop it, because the way it is very good, and says to they go away that there is more tomorrow. Meanwhile, the wife is hiding, and when she notices the car leaving the motel, she runs up to him and yells to stop the car, and then walks to the driver's door, opening it, and tells her husband to get out, asking if he is going crazy. The husband asks what she is doing over there, and the wife yells that he is cheating on her and who is the woman in the car, then asks how he had the courage to do that to her. The wife asks if he's going crazy, and says he still thought she was the problem. The mistress asks what this is, and the wife goes up to her, offending her, but the husband holds her by the arm and tells the mistress to get in the car. The wife accuses him of cheating and says she doesn't believe it, so the husband yells when asking what she's doing there, and the wife says she went to see for herself what he's doing to her, and asks if he has no shame on his face, but the husband gets tired of pretending and says he doesn't care, that it's her problem, that he didn't like being with her anymore, that he can't stand looking at her face anymore, with her ugly hair, that she's dirty and disgusting, she doesn't even get dressed, calls her a pig and spits on the floor, saying that he's disgusted with women like her and doesn't even know why he married her, and tells her to look in the mirror. She says she doesn't want anything to do with him anymore and tells him to get out of her life, and he says she's doing him a favor, and she tells him not to come back to her house, and her husband says he doesn't care about her, that she's a dirty woman, so he throws his ring on the floor and says he wants to settle the divorce soon, that it's her problem, that he doesn't care about marriage or anything, and the wife says that he will still regret choosing this empty life. The husband tells her to let him enjoy life and tells her to leave, and makes fun of her being on foot and alone, and she, humiliated by her own husband, leaves crying. The wife at that moment lost her ground, went through the greatest humiliation of her life, but what she did not expect was what was going to happen. A month later, the woman is talking on the cell phone with her friend, venting about how good it is to get home after such a tiring day at work, especially knowing that she has the whole house to herself, that she will spend the day without doing anything. She enters the house and is surprised when she sees her ex-husband inside the house, so she asks what he is doing there and how he got into the house, and he asks if everything is okay with her, but doesn't understand what is happening there, and he explains that he still has the key to the house and that she knows very well about it. The woman tells him to say what he wants right away, and the ex-husband replies that he spent the last few days thinking and that he thinks he was very wrong with her all along, that he suffered a lot with the breakup of the two, and that she didn't deserve it. So he decided to surprise her so they can try to reconcile. He then reveals that he has reflected and decided that he is going to change, as she doesn't deserve to be going through this situation, and wanted her to sit down so they could talk. Then he shows her the bouquet of flowers he took to her as a surprise. But the wife takes the bouquet, mocking his speech that he changed and regretted it, saying that in the entire time they were together he never bought her a flower, so throws the bouquet on the floor, saying that she doesn't want that she's tired and won't have to spend her life putting up with what he did to her. The ex-husband says that he knew she would have this reaction, but he knows that she will understand him, because she is a very good woman, and he says that he thinks they should try to get back together, that it will work, so he shows that he bought chocolates. So he says that he talked to some friends, and the woman says that they were the ones who took him down this path, and she thought she was to blame, that the error was in her. So she says that he is very cruel, that he has no heart and had the courage to do that to her. And then she comes with flowers and some chocolates wanting to reconcile, and tells him to see himself, that she has self-love. He then asks if nothing he did is of any value to her, and she orders him to leave the house. He tries to question it, but she says she doesn't want to hear anymore and tells him to leave, and she throws the chocolates on the floor and repeats for him to leave her house, saying she doesn't care about the chocolates and doesn't care about him. The ex-husband asks them not to do that, so they can settle things amicably, but the wife says she doesn't want to hear anymore, so she opens the door of the house and tells him to leave and take the chocolates. He begs her to listen, but she is unyielding and keeps telling him to leave. He apologizes before leaving the house, and she throws the flowers, telling him to take them. Then she closes the door and sits down angrily, saying that he thinks that's how it is, that he can do whatever he wants with her and then come back with a surprise. So she says she's going to change the lock. Many men only learn to value their women after they lose them, but when they are over it, there is no bouquet of roses or desperate messages that make them want to come back. Appreciate your woman before it's too late.